Hey guys, welcome back to Paracord Planet. With Christmas being tomorrow, we've got one last Christmas ornament tutorial for you guys. We wanted to make it extra special, so we're doing a miniature nativity set to hang on your tree. Growing up, we always had a nativity set to go along with our Christmas tree for decorations. Some of them were made out of porcelain, others were plush. Porcelain ones we couldn't play with, but this paracord one should be more kid-friendly. Let's dive right in. So for this project, you'll need 3 colors of paracord, 4 feet of chocolate brown for Joseph, 4 feet of light blue for Mary, and 1 foot of cream for baby Jesus. We also have 3 wood beads, 2 large ones for Mary and Joseph, and 1 for the baby. Then we'll use some more 16 gauge craft wire like we've been using in a lot of our tutorials, except this time we're going to change it up and do colored gold. For tools, you'll definitely want pliers, and then you also want a fid to fit some of that wire through the cord, and then our standard scissors and a lighter. We'll start off with Joseph, because he's the tallest and he'll be standing in the back. We just want to form a loop first that the whole thing will be hanging up by. So about 2 or 3 inches will do. And then just tie a overhand knot in both strands of the cord. Like that. Then we can thread it on to our bead. Just put both ends in. Slide that bead all the way up to the top. Then we'll go down about 2.5 inches and start doing a cobra weave. So to do that, we just splay 1 cord off to each side. Bring the first one over the top like this. And the second one's going to come straight down over that one. Then it curves around the back and up through this loop. And that's the basic knot that we're going to be using for most of this project. Tighten that down in the right place. About like that. And then we'll just keep on doing that knot, but we'll reverse it every time. So this time the left is going to go over the top, the right side down and around. If you don't know how to do that knot, that's the knot that's used for most paracord bracelets. And so if you look up the tutorial for one of those, we've got one on our page. You can find out how to do that knot. We'll just keep doing these until we fill up Joseph's body. So as we make our last knot, I'm just going to bring that end that would be at the front and hide it in the back. So before you tighten that one, just want to bring that cord down through that back loop and then tighten everything down. Tighten this one first, and then this one. And that way on the front side, when we cut and melt these, you aren't going to see any of those melt marks. So moving on to Mary, we're going to start it similarly, but we don't need a loop on the top. So we're just going to tie an overhand knot in the middle of our cord, just like you would on your shoelaces. Tighten that down, and that should be big enough to wedge inside of this bead. If you want to add a drop of super glue, that'll keep it extra tight. Then we'll do the same thing. We'll make Mary just a little bit shorter than Joseph, and launch into that same cobra weave. We'll finish that one off the same way by hiding both cords in the back. So that one that ended at the front, just loop that through the back one before tightening it down that last knot. So last but definitely not least is baby Jesus. So for this one, we'll need that small bead, our 1 foot of cream, and then about 8 inches of that craft wire we were talking about. That's going to form the halo, and it's also what's going to keep our entire nativity scene together. So on one end of our wire, we want to take about a 1/2 inch and fold that at a right angle to the rest of the wire. Like this. Then we'll go about 1 needle nose pliers width and bend another right angle. So once you're done, it should look like this. And that's where we're going to begin the circle for our halo. So I want to just slowly start bending this around in a circle. I'm going to take a little bit of readjusting to get that perfect circle. Once you complete that circle, we just want to do another 90-degree turn to match our first one. So it's aiming towards the middle. Then grab onto both of those, probably flat side, and bend that other cord, or wire, excuse me, down. So it should look like this when you're done. A halo with both ends of the wire heading down from about the middle of it. So just leave the extra wire attached to that for now, and we'll set that aside as we prepare the paracord. Fold that one in half, just like we did with the other colors. And we're just going to push that fold through the middle of our bead. If you spin it a little bit, that might help. Once you have a little bit of a loop out the other end, at that point, we'll put our halo down through the bead. So take that long end first, fit that through, and then we'll come down to our other end of the wire. You just kind of have to carefully cram that in with the paracord. Then once the halo is where you want it to be, we can kind of anchor that in place by pulling that fold in the paracord back down into the bead. Once you're done, it should look about like this. At this point, we're going to take that long piece of wire and bend that towards the back. So towards the same side that this seam is on. Might not even need pliers for this one. So like this. So now that wire's out of the way, and we're going to begin our weave for baby Jesus. On this one, we're going to be using a different knot. We'll be using a snake knot because it kind of resembles the swaddled clothes. So to do that one, we'll take one cord, cross it over the other, loop it around the back, like that. Then we'll take this left side cord, go around the back of that one, and down through this loop over here. Should look something like that. Tighten it down, right underneath the bead. We'll make 2 more of these knots. And there's baby Jesus. We'll clip these ends and flatten them against, and then we just have to attach them all together. So now we'll bring Mary and Joseph back into the scene. And we'll just kind of want to stack them staggered, like you would for a family picture. We'll take baby Jesus and that wire. We just want to poke it through the weave in both Mary and Joseph. And for this part, it really does help if you have some kind of fid or even like a screwdriver or something like that to poke through and just kind of widen the weave in that area while we stick the wire through, because this wire really likes to catch on the weave of the paracord. So we'll go through a weave on this side of Mary, and then on the opposite side of Joseph. And that should be enough space to put our wire through. So then once they stack, they should look something like this. Just to keep that in place a little bit better, we're going to be weaving the wire through one more time, going back the other direction. So then if we turn it around to the back side, wherever we went through the first time, we want to skip down about 2 weaves and then go back through the other direction. So the wire went through here, we're going to go back through about here. Just widen that loop this time. And then a corresponding one on Mary at about the right spot. Oops. And then since this wire is stiff, it helps that we have a little bit of extra wire to play with. We're just going to bend this in a big loop until it's pointing back the other direction, and begin to poke it through those holes. Once you have the wire poking back out the front, right here, we can push Jesus through all the way so that they're tight against each other, and make sure that he's kind of angled in the right direction that you want him to be. And then on the back side, just fold that wire downwards so that we lock that in place. And at this point, you can just kind of grab the rest of the wire and pull it through. Once those are all bound together, you can just leave about a 1/2 inch on the front and clip the rest of that wire off. Time to find a spot for these guys on our tree. I hope you guys enjoyed this last Christmas ornament tutorial, and we'll check out the rest of this playlist. We'll put a link in the description to where you can find the supplies for this one, and also a link to that playlist. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a very Merry Christmas.